It's Thursday evening. We're live. Believe it or not, it's that night of unprecedented fun and games as we try to make sure we connect with our audience. Please tell us you are there.
Welcome everyone to CVFM Radio. We are now live. Janny Monaghan has already texted me to say, when are you going live? When have you got Councillor Antony High or Deputy Mayor Antony High on the show? So we do have Deputy Mayor Antony High in the green room, don't we, Martin?
We do, fantastic, and I'm delighted because he's one of our favourite guests to have on, and clearly other people like listening to him as well. So great, he's on the show tonight. We've got some other great guests as well, haven't we?
Yes, we have. So Martin, obviously we've got Antony on. We've also got sitting in the green room as well. We've got Ben Hunt. He's going to be
my friend Ben Hunt. Yes. Now we've got Ben Hunt, an amazing guy because I met him through running Orchard Eagles Running Club, and then it's amazing how people's paths cross over if you go back in time. Ben is the manager at Tomahawk Restaurant at Acklam Hall. So he's going to talk to us about the hospitality industry, and I've obviously eaten there, so that's a good start. But he was also working at the place my daughter got married, and I didn't even know. Hey, and then if we go, Ben's an amazing fundraiser. So we're looking forward to that conversation. Before then, we've got a wonderful lady called Paula McMahon. Now, this is going to sound funny, but I sort of got to know Paula through my time traveling experiences, but also from a children's book. And yet this lady is responsible for the A19.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's an amazing engineer, and it's National Apprentices Week, and so we're going to be talking to her all about apprentices and all sorts of things like that. So we've got a great program lined up tonight.
Yeah, and she's won awards, and we've also going to be talking about the Chinese New Year. We're going to be talking cooking and also a little bit of thing called Valentine's Day as well.
Of course, and Pancake Tuesday. Pancake Tuesday is coming up.
And I hope you're going to be treating Mrs. Peagam as well.
I always treat Mrs. P, you know that.
Oh, well, what we're going to do is let's get our first guest on. Once we get our first guest on, I am going to, as you can now see, I've now got my fingers crossed. Good evening, Matthew Rowe as well. He's actually come on into the feed, so we'll pop that on. I am now going to share a song. It's called Lockdown by the wonderful Alison Tralfer. This is my favourite song of 2020. So I am hoping this is going to play, Martin, because you know how bad I am.
We're going for fingers crossed here. It's lockdown, really, fingers crossed.
I really do think we need to.
Lockdown, I'm inside my home. Lockdown to protect my own. It's high time I shield what's mine. Lockdown, stay behind your door. Don't let this virus spread anymore. It's high time we told the lie. I'm looking forward to that sweet, sweet day when all of our restrictions are lifted away. It's high time. There's no use in laying down crying. Come on now, you've got to keep trying. Ain't no time, we all will be flying. Parties in the streets with everybody invited. Yeah. Woo. Lockdown now, 'cause this is war. Lockdown, you've been told before. It's high time I can call you online. Lock down and protect yourself, and that way you can hurt no one else. It's high time, you're my sunshine. I'm wishing on a star for the world to heal, but I can to keep trying. In no time we all will be flying. Parties in the streets with everybody invited. Parties in the streets with everybody united. Parties in the streets with everybody invited. Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's Alison Trelfer, Lockdown. I just love that song. What do you think, Marty?
I thought it was brilliant. It really gets you into the spirit, doesn't it? And I could see Antony was just itching to dance, but he was trying to think, I'm a deputy mayor of Middlesbrough. Am I meant to be dancing around in this? I could see it's a thought going through his head.
Well, Antony, we played that song for you. So did you enjoy it?
I wonder why, Anne. I wonder why. Yeah, absolutely. I wonder what my favourite line is in there as well. Do you know, a bit of high
It's
time.
high time. Antony, with reference to lockdown number 3, how's everybody doing on their mental health at the moment in Middlesbrough?
Do you know what? It's only fair to say people aren't doing well. Do you know, people are okay, but I think everybody is finding this particular lockdown really tough. Children, young people, young adults, people of all backgrounds are really starting to feel the pinch. I speak to a lot of people from across a lot of different sectors. Some of the strongest minds and some of the most sort of motivated individuals out there, really, and everybody's coming back with the same line as they're finding this one really tough. Do you know, we're now nearly coming up to 12 months of this difficulty, and it's taken its toll. I mean, I've been trying to put a number of messages out there into the public domain, and I'd like to take the opportunity to now. If you find yourself struggling, please reach out. Always reach out to a friend or family member. Do you know, there's always somebody there to lend you an ear and take some time to listen to your woes. And just don't struggle alone, I think, is the message that I want to put out there.
I mean, that's been one of the things, hasn't it, Antony? There are lots of organisations, lots of individuals out there ready to help and step in. And people, I think, even before lockdown, were embarrassed to ask for help. Now, just ask for help, because there are plenty of people out there ready. I know the council have got, we were talking last week with Mika and Dorothy about the money to community champions and community networks and so on. I mean, the council are doing loads to reach out to people, aren't they?
They are, and you're right, Marty, that old age of pride comes first. You know, it's not a time to be proud. Do you know, if you're in a spot of difficulty, if you're struggling mentally, just reach out. Do you know, and with the power of social media now, you're only 2 or 3 clicks away from getting access to services that can support or organisations that are there, and more importantly, your own friends and family. You know, you will find, and what life shows us is people who talk about the times they've reached out to their friends and family, it's been well received, you know, and people can share experiences and support each other. So please, anyone listening, do not suffer on and do not suffer in silence. Make sure you connect somewhere.
And with reference to sorry, Martin, for interrupting, but with reference to young people as well, the council are doing a lot as well, aren't they, to help young people?
Your sound's breaking up. I assumed you said about mental health with young people. I mean, it was Young People's Mental Health Week last week, which allowed a lot of people to talk about the fact that young people suffer with mental health too. And you know, the environments with the friends pretty much 5 days a week, school, education, the activities they do, to how they're currently having to get through now. So if we could, I mean, I put some stuff on my own social media in relation to accessing further support for children or parents who may have children that are suffering with mental health. So the services are there. Our young people now need us more than ever. Do you know, the iPads and the technology stuff, it's took them this far, but they're needing some some human contact now and some normality back into the world. So if you're not managing to get that, and you do need some support for your child, then please make contact.
I think that's one of the things, isn't it? Because everybody relies on social media, and it has been a godsend to us. But at the same time, there's a relentless supply of bad news. The only way I can put it, watching television endlessly, listening to social media, and people do need to get outside, take a walk, talk to somebody. And there's plenty of places in Middlesbrough where you can actually just step out of your door, take a walk around the block, get some fresh air in your lungs. And I do worry sometimes that people are too fixated on social media.
It's a valid point, Martin. Do you know, physical activity is just as critical as any type of sort of connectivity. People need to get out there, stretch your legs. I know there's been days where I've found it really tough to motivate myself, you know, and I'll get my trainers on and I'll go and have an hour's walk and stretch myself and come back, have a little bit of thinking time and get back into the day, you know, get back into the world. So moving is always a key one.
It is. You know, despite the snow and the ice, you know, we can get out there and do things. Now, in terms of, I know, looking at young people, one of your big concerns has been children's services this year, because we had the report last year, and I know that you've been taking a big part in leading us forward from that. Can you tell us where we are with reforming, if you like, or addressing the problems?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was quite recently that I'd shared some news that we've now had feedback from the minister, government minister, saying that they're comfortable and confident with the direction of travel that we are now taking in relation to the strategical direction of children's services. It's been a phenomenally tough year. Do you know, you rewind back to last February, we got the worst possible Ofsted we could ever imagine. Fast forward 2 weeks from there, we're locked down in a global pandemic. It's been a monstrous task, one that has tested every part of the local authority. The staff have been brilliant in terms of their response, and we're now at a position where we're a year down the line. We've proven that we're doing the right things. We're going in the right direction. There will be obviously more Ofsted and Department of Education reports and reviews to come in. We're set with a brilliant guy from the Department of Education now, who's going to be our biggest critic, but our biggest friend, do you know, through the next stage of improvement. We have partnership arrangements an improvement board where we're bringing all our partner agencies together to firstly bring about appropriate criticism in terms of what we need to improve on, but then also to assist with the change that we need to deliver going forward. So it's been all hands on deck for the last year, and we've seen the progress that we would expect to see at this stage.
So I mean, obviously the whole thing was disrupted by pandemic and lockdown. How do you think, you know, all the work that's been done in the council is going to be seen or be evident and obvious to people out in the community? Because there was a lot of concern last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with children's services, you know, it doesn't tap into everybody within the town. So we have all the governing bodies, such as Ofsted and the Department of Education, that will come in and do their reviews and do their assessments, and that will be shared openly and honestly, you know, in terms of the improvements that are made. I mean, I've looked to push and push the local authority to start to think of young people and the children of the town a lot more differently. You know, we've managed to secure permanent funding really for the rebirth of youth services across the town, which is seeing transitional work, universal work and targeted work with the children of Middlesbrough right across the area. That's something we haven't had in Middlesbrough for eight years, do you know? So I'm really passionate about young people and what they can bring to the town, do you know, and all the cliches there, and, you know, young people at a day, tomorrow's adults, and that is the truth of it, do you know, and for far too long in Middlesbrough, I feel I've had a raw end of any sort of investment or support for what they can access.
move, and I know we talked a minute ago about people getting out and walking, and I know something that really been a big concern for you. You made an announcement, I think it was yesterday or the day before, about the Stainton Western Highway and Mandale Meadows. Just summarise for us what's been going on there, because I know you were. How can I put it? Upset.
Yeah. Do you know what, Martin? It's the town executive. As tough as things have been, I've always managed to break through and bring about positivity and change. And I mean, Mandale Meadows, 30 seconds away from our front door. Do you know, when I'm talking about getting out and stretching my legs, that's where I am. It's been a contentious one for a number of years, and the residents have been really keen to try and prevent a road going through that area to preserve and protect the green space that's there. And I played a really direct role in that behind the scenes, you know, and politically and the challenge that I put towards the local authority. As this consultation has opened up, I've had some more direct conversations with the local authority, and at the most appropriate time have tabled a number of serious sort of questions, and I got the answers to most of those yesterday. You know, the meeting was between myself and their senior officers within the local authority. I think the meeting was early mid-afternoon. I put the information out, you know, 5 p.m. on the evening in its entirety. You know, I'm really disappointed with the position where it's ended up being, and really frustrated the fact that I haven't been able to do any more to better serve an area that I live in, an area that I love. You know, my kids have grown up there. So yeah, it's been a tough day. So but as I always will be, I will always be open and I will always be honest. And if it's great news, that's always nice. But if it's difficult news, you know, I'm in a position where I need to be true to the residents of the area and the electorate of Middlesbrough. So I'll always pass on everything in its entirety for people to understand the facts.
Can I ask a question? Why are you forced to carry forward the decisions made and set within Labour's previous 2014 plan? Why are you? Why can't you overturn that?
It's a difficult one. I'm no planning expert by any means, and I'm certainly not a legal expert. But what we're being informed, and what I've been informed, and what I shared yesterday, is there's already been a number of commitments physically to Middlesbrough that have included the delivery of this potential travel corridor, and because other developments have been set previously and could be set prior in relation to the road, I'm led and informed that there would be very, very strong challenge legally in relation to people who've already looked to progress the town. It was also shared that as a part of our wider infrastructure, we would be requiring this type of road anyway. You know, even if, which was really, really annoying, even if we didn't have the development, the road is likely to be needed in relation to the travel and the traffic requirements on that part of South Middlesbrough. So yeah, we are where we are. Do I wish there was more I could do? Absolutely. But it's one of those battles that unfortunately I've took to the point of being told that I'm not going to win, you know, and unfortunately the road will be going through.
Well, it's really interesting. Read all about this on your Facebook page, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm one of these, and you know, I put everything out there as open and as direct as I can. So if anyone wants to read the specific facts in relation to what I've mentioned, please jump on my Facebook page. What's really disappointing is I think 48 hours ago, 72 hours ago, I was saying about getting in there and championing and pulling this meeting together, and I was full of beans, you know, and then 24 hours later, I'm sharing what is perceived by quite a number of people as bad news. So it's not my finest hour. It's certainly one that has been tough for me, you know, and there's been a lot learned as well, you know, in relation to the local authority and in relation to how decisions that we could potentially make today could have a negative impact 10 years down the line, you know. So it's really important that this administration going forward doesn't repeat what we've had to receive and carry on through within our administration.
Presumably, from what I've read and what you've just said, some of this implication and the relevance of this road development is for other developments that are planned for South and West Middlesbrough over the next few years. Now, are those developments in themselves, any of them, in areas that are likely to take away parts of our green belt? Are they likely to cause controversy? And is there anything that can be done about those developments now?
Well, there's two things. You're right, it's future developments, but it's also previous developments that had been agreed by the Labour administration, you know. So the previous developments were set and completed on the back of this road coming forward. But to answer your question, I've already looked to, I know there are wins in some of the work that I've done. So whilst the road is negative, and I don't even really want to talk about what his wins are. I will at some point. It doesn't feel like a win, you know, but there's some big changes that we've made to the current plan, which will be carried forward, and I'll be fighting to make sure that happens. So, for example, the old development proposed that there was 100+ houses on the field itself, so not just a road, and on the green belt there was going to be housing development. I've stopped that, and I've looked to have other the mayor and the executive member back me in stopping that. So we've reduced the overall sort of effect on that belt area, and I've also currently set about looking to protect that land and formally protect that land after the development goes forward. So as I've said, our decisions now, I want to try and help protect the town in the next 10 years. So there's not much I can do about the current situation, but once that is set, if I can put restrictions in place to stop them then developing this bit of space 10 years down the line, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing.
I think that is a big step forward. You know, I can tell how disappointed you are. It comes over very, very clearly how passionate you feel about this. But, you know, those little steps of protecting something, I mean, taking 100 plots away from a crucial part of the town is a massive victory. I mean, don't underestimate that. I mean, I don't want to belittle this anywhere, but, you know, in lockdown, I've been watching the whole of the Vicar of Dibley. And yesterday, by pure coincidence, I was watching the episode where the reservoir floods the valley. And they wondered how they could stop it. And Owen suggested to find a very rare species of animal, like a 3-legged cow or something like that. Now, that was obviously in comedy, but is there not any hope you could find some rare plant, some rare animal, some rare bird just happen to be nesting on this bit of land?
There's loads of jokes I could start with there, Martin, and I'm trying my best not to. But do you know what? I wish there was. You know, I genuinely do. I think the other part. I do think the other fact that we need to state about the development is it is private land, most of it. That the only land that will be getting housing development on it now is private land. You know, not only did we say in our push to protect that Mandale area, I've said to the local authority, no council land will be sold as development in relation to this. So it is all private land. The other side of that, Martin, is if we don't show that we are effectively managing our own development in local plan, we will lose control of that, and some guy from down south will come. He'll probably do it from south. He'll look at the prettiest part and put as many houses as he possibly can in as little space as possible. The positives of this is the fact that we pushed the plan to the point where I think it's 52% of the space is going to be retained for public use. Do you know? And that's private land that we're pushing to retain as public use. So the other side is if we lost control of that, somebody else would use that space to put a lot more houses. So instead of 1,600 houses on a private development, we could potentially have 2,500 right across, and Middlesbrough Council losing the land that we're looking to try and fight for now. So yeah, there are positives there. It's just I'm finding it a little bit tough at the minute to fly the flag for the positives, Martin, because of what's occurred. But yeah, if anyone knows of any special bed or nest or something that could save it, then please give me a knock. I'm only 30 seconds away from where you find it.
I personally think newts are the way forward. Just get newts. So, but Antony, thank you as always for coming on onto the community show. Will you come back in about 4 to 6 weeks' time, please, to update us again?
Whenever you know me, whenever you want me, I'll be there. And just drop us a message, drop us a text. It's always a pleasure having a chat with you both. So yeah, anytime.
Likewise. We love talking to you, Antony, and I can tell I know the sort of guy you are. You're bearing a scar from a battle that's just been lost, but there's a war still to be fought, and you're the guy that's fighting that war. So keep going, mate. Keep going.
Thank you very much, Martin. I really appreciate that.
And listeners, we do actually have, not on this show, but Idris does have the mayor next week on a special chat with the mayor. So you'll be able to go onto CVFM Radio Facebook or the mayor's page and ask, pop your questions into his feed as well, because I know he's been posting as well about coming on to CVFM Radio. So we're doing really well. We've got deputy mayor this week, and next week we've got the mayor. So Antony, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Can't wait. Take it easy.
Bye. What a lovely man. We really like Antony High. He's a lovely gentleman, isn't he? Are you there?
I'm here. Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Can we just say, listeners, Martin, my co-presenter, you are profoundly deaf, and we've actually moved the camera in the CVFM radio studio so you can actually lip read what I'm saying, because last week you actually had real difficulty, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody listened intently enough, and I've already apologised to the people I was interviewing, but some of the interviews, like I couldn't see or hear what they were saying, and I say see or hear because a lot of my hearing depends on me seeing a face, and it was quite funny because I was hoping that they'd answered the question that I'd asked, or I'd asked the question that was relevant. I was just throwing things out in the air and hoping. So apparently I did quite well.
You did very
well. I wish I'd done the lottery.
You did very well, Martin. Before we get our next guest on, because it is National Apprenticeship Week, we're just going to break it up with, I don't know if listeners have seen this on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, but we just want to play the sound on this because I am still chuckling over it.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to
we're trying to. Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that. I think if you click the up arrow next to this.
Well, there you go. That is, in America, a lawyer showed up to a virtual court in the 394th district of Texas with a kitten filter turned on. The cat moving its lips and eyes, as Rod Poynton said, he and his assistant were attempting to move the filter during the court case. And the judge later posted the snippet and wrote, "If a child used your computer before you join a virtual hearing, check the Zoom video options to be sure filters are off." This kitten just made a formal announcement on a case in the 394th district. So very entertaining. What do you think, Martin?
I only saw it briefly, but there's so many questions. I'm wanting to know why the lawyer was looking at it in the first place. Never mind taking it to the court. But anyway,
well,
it was a bit of fun, and there's a lot about it, isn't there? Because there was one about Handworth Parish Council that kept me entertained all week. That had, as a former clerk to various councils, I love that one.
Oh, well, I'm not joking. That is literally, I know people like that on committee meetings. So, but talking about,
wonderful people, talking about wonderful people,
a National Apprenticeship Week. And we might ask our guest if she's actually, does actually know how to get a cat filter on her Zoom conversations. We have the wonderful Paula McMahon on the show. Martin, introduce her, because this lady is seriously talented.
I know. You see, the only problem I have in introducing Paula is that the next 3 hours will be taken up with telling you everything that she's done. So, I'll try and summarize it. An engineer, and if you have any concept what that means, the whole of year 19, she's responsible. Okay, so we'll sort that out. An award winner, she's won so many awards, it's just outstanding. But the reason we wanted Paula on this week in particular was National Apprenticeship Week. It's a part of the year when we promote and celebrate the opportunities that apprentices can give an apprenticeship. And Paula was a winner on behalf of the Robert McAlpine Group, which she worked for, at the Tees Businesswoman Award. So, start with a round of applause for Paula. Okay. Paula, welcome to the show, and tell us, what was the award that you picked up on behalf of Sir Robert McAlpine?
Oh, we haven't got any voice. Now, we do actually. She's literally, we should have tested this before we did it.
This is all this talk about cats, that's what it is.
I know, she's going to be having a cat stick. You need to, we're going to kick you out. Oh, come here. No, you've gone and muted yourself, my darling. You've put, your microphone isn't connected, so we can't unmute you because your microphone isn't. Are we there? I think we are. Hello. No.
Oh.
Yes, we've got you.
Yes. Technology is wonderful when it works. Hello, thanks Martin for that lovely introduction. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Yeah.
I can just about hear you. Yeah, I've done a thumbs up. What I'm looking at the moment, Paula, is a shelf behind you. It's laden with awards.
And the one, the Tees Businesswoman, I don't actually have that yet. So the award that I won there was actually on behalf of Sir Robert McAlpine. It was the Training and Apprenticeship Award, which was really good. It was there. It sort of showed that Sir Robert McAlpine do so much in our region, on my project in the Tees Valley and in the region as a whole, in the northeast, for trainees and apprentices, and how much we actually do to sort of encourage that next generation of people in the construction industry. So that's what the award was for.
And that's what it's all about, Apprenticeship Week, isn't it? It's about the next generation and the generation after that. It's about showing people that there's a way forward. I mean, at the moment, we're in, this terrible state. But even now, companies like Sir Robert McAlpine and all the other companies that take on apprentices are planning for the future. So tell me, give me an idea of what happened, for example, with Sir Robert McAlpine. How many apprentices do you have? What sort of things did they get up to? That sort of thing.
We normally have somewhere around about 50 apprentices of all different types. Joiners, electricians, all the way through to people doing degrees. We've got 4 people at Teesside University doing a degree apprenticeship in civil engineering, for example. And we know that we need to train up that next generation, and that's what National Apprenticeship Week is all about, is to share stories and tell people that apprenticeships are good for obviously the individuals and also companies that take them on, because you're molding someone in your own image, and you're helping them get the skills for the job at the same time as qualifications are being gained. So that's why I want to talk about apprenticeships. How great they are.
I remember from when I was working, there was always a bit of a gamble here, because apprentices, basically, you take them on and you train them and you give them real working situation to deal with. But at the end of the day, you're hoping that they will stay with you. Is that always a factor for employers, trying to balance, will it stay, is it worth the investment?
Yeah, I mean, that did happen. I mean, I was an apprentice a long time ago when I left school, and that was always the case, that we had a certain amount that actually didn't stay with the council. And they obviously had a massive investment. Currently, though, the investment actually isn't that much as it used to be for employers, because there's lots of financial incentives. For example, the training itself, the qualifications, can get paid out of the levy fund. And even if it's a smaller company that doesn't pay very much into a levy fund, they can there's many different mechanisms to actually utilise somebody else's, or to get a dramatic discount on that qualification. So the companies aren't actually paying that, what can be quite a large fee for the exams and the training itself. But also there's lots of incentives for taking on apprentices, especially at the moment. There's an awful lot of financial help if people are taking on apprentices. So yes, the company has to invest, and yes, there's always a risk that somebody might leave. But the thing is if it's a good company and they look after that trainee, that apprentice, then they're less likely to leave. So there's another incentive for companies to actually treat the staff well, which obviously Sir Robert McAlpine do. We've got an extremely low turnover in staff because of that very reason.
And how is it going at the moment? I mean, National Apprentices Week, in a normal year, you'd be sending out a message about the financial incentives and the benefits and good stories. But right now, in the middle of a pandemic, when so many companies are struggling just to survive, never mind actually, think about a future, how are you finding that employers are reacting to National Apprentices Week?
So it's obviously, there's different sectors that are hard hit, harder hit than others. Obviously, the hospitality sector is just totally, really struggling at the moment. But obviously, like with other people that's in there, there's the furlough schemes and there's specific help actually for apprentices. The National Apprenticeship Survey has a number of different ways of supporting apprentices and their employers during this time. Although we all know it's far from ideal. It's far from what would have been the normal situation when, pubs and restaurants and things were open. But other sectors are, some sectors are flourishing. There's always, in situations of massive change and things, there's always winners and there's always losers. So there is some sectors that are actually flourishing and taking on more apprentices than ever because of that. The construction industry is a bit sort of in the middle. I know that an awful lot of companies aren't taking on apprentices this year because of the unknowns of what's coming up. But we've obviously got an awful lot of apprentices already. And what we do and we can do is that apprenticeships aren't always just 16-year-olds that's leaving school. You can actually, a lot of people don't realise that existing employees can become apprentices as long as they are learning something new, and that they can demonstrate that. And there's obviously rules and regulations associated with it, but actually existing people can be upskilled through an apprenticeship as well. So we've got a lot of that going on, that even though some companies aren't taking on new people, which I know isn't ideal, but because of the risks associated with COVID and Brexit and everything else, that they're upskilling existing staff as well.
And I know, Paula, that one of the things that you are passionate about is getting young people, particularly females, involved in the engineering, manufacturing, that whole time. I'm guessing there's still parents out there that think apprentices, this is where the lads go to get their welding apprenticeship. But actually, I mean, the whole guise of engineering has changed, and you're a model of this. 15, 17 years, I guess you've been in the engineering industry. Is more?
30. Thank you,
Oh,
Martin.
Look, you're still looking young. So, I can't help this. But you've been chair of Tees Valley Engineering for about 15 years, and you've been promoting young people. Are you seeing that girls these days are looking at engineering as a career option just as much as lads are?
Yeah. So to actually address the apprenticeship for a second, there's actually over 1,700 different jobs that apprenticeships cover, and it covers all sorts of things, not just engineering. It covers hairdressing and hospitality and public relations and everything. But to do with engineering, yes, there are more and more girls coming into the sectors that would traditionally have been considered to be male-orientated sectors. And unfortunately, we still are losing quite a lot after qualifications, and along that, what we call the leaky pipeline, we do tend to lose a lot more female engineers throughout their career than the drop-off from men. There's a number of reasons for that, and some of we don't know all of the reasons. Some of them are a bit of a mystery, but we are looking at things like flexible working. So Sir Robert McAlpine are very keen on looking at flexible working as one of the mechanisms for actually helping retain and encourage females into the construction industry. And we've actually done a 1% Beyond 1% podcast as well, because in construction, that's one of the areas that's got the least amount of female representation. We've got less than 1% on the tools. So Sir Robert McAlpine are helping champion,
That sounds fantastic.
construction.
Martin, can I ask, what
Feel
is
free.
the Adventures and the Lottie Initiative, please? Because that looks fabulous.
All right. So they're actually up there behind me. WES is the Women's Engineering Society, and WES have for a number of years, and this might be a future guest for you. We've got in our region the lady that thought of this as a great idea, that she's seen the Lottie dolls, and Lottie dolls are for sale, and they have a selection of them, and they also have like STEM dolls and adventure dolls and things. So it's not just the traditional dressy up and long hair and makeup and things. There's actually the dolls there are the proportions of a 9-year-old girl, and they very much promote that girls can do more than just do the hair and makeup. And so my friend Jo came up with the idea that these Lottie dolls could be taken on a tour. So members of WES can ask for a doll, and up until 2020, they were taken into the workplace, and you'd have Lottie next to a microscope, or next to a road being laid or something like that. And Lottie would go on tour with all different engineers and scientists all over the world. And so this year I said, I'll have a Lottie doll. And then I got her here and thought, we're not going to be able to do very much sat in just this room looking at the computer. So I came up with the idea that we'll have a bit of an adventure, and I'd write a book. So I ended up writing 3 books. One, Lottie's Lockdown Adventure. One, Lottie in the garden, and one Lottie at home. And it was all just various things to do with engineering, and also like saving waste and a few things that sort of looking towards sustainability. And they're free to download off the WES Lottie Tour website under the resources section. So there's 3 free books there, and there's also some activities and things that people at home can talk to the kids about, things like ways of communicating, and have you seen anything in nature, drawing rainbows, that sort of thing.
Well, we've actually got Dean Wilkes on next week, and I notice the 3 children, the books, there's Norton Duck Pond, isn't there?
Yes.
And the Tees Barrage,
Yes.
and the A19 and roads, and buildings in Stockton feature in the books as well. So that's is that part of the books?
Yeah, so I live in Norton, and I literally took Lottie on a tour with me around where I could walk around during lockdown 1, and my own home and garden. So everything was literally taken within half a mile of my house.
I actually love Lottie, and I think it was one of the best initiatives because it's one of the things I think, Paula, is that Lottie really should be targeted at parents like me who don't understand anything about engineering. Never mind the kids; it's about me.
Well, maybe you should read them, Martin.
Exactly.
Definitely. Oh, it's fascinating. We must go and do that, Martin. We must go and get the lady on that's created. So, okay, something's coming from Lee Fisher. So, Lee, just direct messages at CVFM Radio, please. And Julie Harrison, the superstar she is. I love Julie Harrison already because she's got lots of lovely, wonderful feedback. She said we need more girls in engineering. Employers are doing what they can to get more engineering together, or also promoting careers in engineering to schools. And she's also got the website, so everybody can just go and have a look at that website, click into it, and go and have a look at the Lottie tour as well. Fascinating. Julie, can you also put us in the URL for the podcast as well, please? That'd be really good. What's the podcast, Paula, that we need
for the Beyond 1%? Julie might not know what that is. It's on Sir Robert McAlpine website.
For us?
If I'll find it afterwards if Julie can't find it.
Oh well, Julie's brilliant. Julie, who is Julie?
The bottom line is we were getting a message out there because the work that Paula and people like her are doing. You know, we've been hearing about people worried about the present, but everything that's to do with apprentices, it's to do with careers and everything. It's about the future, and it's offering hope and optimism. So, you know, if nothing else, you know, access apprentice information, access Lottie, and find out about it. Superb.
Yeah.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And Julie, to answer your question, is she works with me on the Engineering Together committee. So I chair Engineering Together, which is a group of different institutions. So it's the Institution of Civil Engineers, Chemical Engineers, Engineering and Technology. There's a whole bunch of different institutions, and we work together to collaborate to do things in schools. And Julie is one of our most active members in terms of doing things in schools, and she's also our climate lead as well. She's our champion for climate change because she's just brilliant, Julie. And I found the link for you, and I will put it in our chat.
There you go. Is that? Oh no, she's already just popped something on.
Julie's put the people and cultures. I'm sure that takes you to something. It's possibly on that page. I've sent you a direct link as well.
Okay, well we'll go and get that. We've got it. I'm just hoping that I can go and copy. Brilliant. And we're going to put that into there as well. So let's just paste that. I tell you, look at us. What's this like? There we go. Oh,
brilliant. Okay. And another link that people might be interested in is the Engineering Together website. On there's lots of different things about STEM. There's activities you can do at home. There's activities for teachers. There's free upskilling websites on there. And lots of different role models and things about careers in all different types of engineering, because there's lots of types of engineering. And that website's just www.engineeringtogether.com. Engineering Together is just one word.
Well, that's fantastic, because this is also going into YouTube as well. And we've actually got five places on social media. This is actually going out to this evening. So it's just really positive, because at this time when people are worrying about jobs, etc., it's good to see that positive things are happening out there.
It can only get better.
Keep up the good work, Paula.
Thank you.
Oh, well, we'll look forward to seeing you again. And I'm going to actually just nip away, because I'm going to ask Idris to turn off the heating, because I'm sitting in here boiling. And he's just nipped in.
It's an engineering problem. That's what it is. The room should be properly ventilated, you know.
How many women do you actually have? Do I actually say when it's snowing outside? Bearing in mind, I am here wearing these on. I've actually got leopard print moon boots on because I've gone to the snow, and I'm actually asking to have the heating turned off.
You see, Paula and I are looking very cool and relaxed because we've solved this problem of ventilation and heating. We're fine, you know.
Perfectly balanced.
Well, can I just say it's really lovely here, and Paula, huge thank you for coming on this evening. And will you come back on in a couple of months' time and update us on the things that you're doing? Because fascinating, absolutely fascinating listening to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Take care, my
You
lovely.
take care, Paula. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Well, we've actually got Julie Harrison, who sounds an absolute star.
There you are. See, Julie's telling you that the heating thermostat should never be over 20 degrees. Now, you know, it's a health and safety issue.
Well, do you remember, Martin, when you and I came on, when we actually, it was in the summer, and were you in here when we actually had a choir in? And I ended up having to give my seat up to we actually had the One Voice Choir come into the studio, and I ended up giving. Were you here?
I wasn't in the studio. You see, I'd heard that the temperature was going to rise so much that I thought that's clearly unsafe. So I kept out.
I think we had something like 30 people in here. It was hot. Now, before it disappears up the feed, we've actually had Lee Fisher. He's come on. It's completely closed both of us up, but it says, "Hi CVFM, can you help us promote? We are doing a challenge during February for Middlesbrough Football Club Foundation and Borough Walkers Association to raise money for local communities. We have been challenged to Febrest challenge, as some of you might have noticed. Myself,
the climbing Everest.
Oh, you're climbing Everest, thank you. As some of you might have noticed, myself and some other guys are taking part in a fitness and well-being challenge this month. The aim is to climb the height of a well-known mountain, which is Everest. Thank you to my co-presenter, using our stairs at home, which is done on a daily basis throughout February. Now,
I can tell you, Anne, that will take them 52,047 steps. Because I happen to have done a similar challenge, and I've got a list of all the steps. But Everest is 52,047. So come on, if you can support Lee and his guys, because you know we're going to be talking to Ben in a minute, and Ben does loads of fundraising for charity. Support Lee, help him climb those stairs.
Well, Lee, come on the show next week and talk to us about it, because I've asked Lee to direct message us at CVFM Radio, and we're going to get in touch with him, and we'll get him on, because I think that's just really important, because again, it is for the local community out there, and let's get that message out there, the work that he's doing, him and his mates, and we'll ask him how his calves are, Martin, and his thighs.
Perfect.
About thighs, calves, chicken, etc. I think we're just going to talk about steak. What a great link that was, wasn't it, Martin? I should be getting in comedy. Now, let's introduce our next guest. I am going to get you to introduce him because he sounds an absolutely fabulous gentleman. Come on, Martin, tell us about him.
Well, you know how it is, Anne, that you meet somebody. Look at that. He's multi-talented because he can close the door behind him while we're introducing him. Brilliant. And it's swung open again, Ben. No, Ben Hunt. Okay. I met him through Orchard Eagles Running Club, which is a fantastic group of people. But the more I discover about Ben, he's just amazing. He raises an enormous amount of money for charities. And he's also the general manager at one of my favourite eating places, which is Acklam Hall. And as you know, Anne, I have a long history with Acklam Hall and the history of it. So, hello, Ben. Are you hearing us? And have you managed to control that door yet?
Hello, Ben.
Well,
Oh, we've
she's,
lost.
she's climbing behind me now, so try and get out the door. There's no more disturbances, Martin. Thank you for.
That's all right.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Just about.
Ben, who was that behind you? Was that? Have you got a little child,
I
or
can
is
hear
it?
you, Martin. Can you? Yeah. Okay. That was. No, that was Martin. She was trying to sneak out without the cat, so I do apologise.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce our screens down so it just looks a little bit clearer. So Ben's actually clearer. So Martin, carry on.
I will carry on then, regardless. Right, Ben, hospitality industry. We've been hearing this evening about the struggles that a lot of industries are having. Now, you were the manager at Tomahawk at Acklam Hall, and I passed Tomahawk in Yarm the other day, and there was a queue outside the door of people trying to get something to eat. How are Tomahawk coping with the lockdown, the pandemic, and everything else? And tell us who Tomahawk are as well, you know.
Tell you. Okay, so who Tomahawk are? We started the company about 4 years ago, Martin. The first site was Tomahawk at Potto. It was the brainchild of Howard Eggleston and Tom Sturman. They had the intention of opening a really upmarket steak eatery, and to basically give the people of Teesside a taste of great quality meat, great environment, lovely atmosphere, great venues, and to try and grow the company as a small chain, which is now we've gone up to 14 sites. So expanding in a difficult time, but the ethos is behind great food, great hospitality in an environment.
And how have you, I mean, I take it you've switched over to doing takeaway type activities and things like that because you can't have people in. Is that what's going on?
Do you know, Martin?
Yes, absolutely. At the moment, most of our sites are doing takeaway Friday through till Sunday as a way of trying to keep the brand awareness going and also give people a little taste of Tomahawk Tomahawk.
So we're coming up to Valentine's Day, Ben. Come on, you know, for the meat eaters in your love life, what a Tomahawk
Sure you can hear
offering
me okay
them.
there, Martin? Are you okay, Anne? Can you hear me?
We're struggling, but one question. I don't know if you can hear this. Valentine's. Tell us, Martin. I think we've got him back.
My love,
Okay, yeah,
Teesside's love life. We're doing
love
fantastic.
life. Go on.
Yeah, I can hear one. Yeah, are you here? Okay, so for Valentine, we're doing two packages, package A and package B. Fantastic box with selection of starters, beautiful steaks, a nice dessert, and either a signature cocktail or a nice bottle of fizz to go with the meal. So all the menu in one. A little taste of Tomahawk to go.
Sounds wonderful. Do you know what's particularly appealing? If you're married to a vegetarian, you get 2 boxes.
Do you?
Did you get that, Ben?
We still cater for vegetarians as well, Martin. We vegetarian and vegan menu. Yes, I did get that. Yes, yeah. Bonus for the carnivore in the relationship, but we do an amazing vegan and vegetarian option as well. We cater for all.
There you are. See, everybody is catered for. Superb. Now look, Ben, you have a history of working in the hospitality industry. You worked at some amazing places.
So you'd get double
Rockcliffe
steak,
Hall.
would you, Martin? Is that what you're saying? Your missus is a vegetarian.
Yeah, my missus is vegetarian. My daughter is vegetarian.
They are.
You know, my son-in-law is a carnivore like me. You know, and we live a great life because, you know, meat, you get twice as much. Hey, what's the problem? You know. But no, Ben, you worked at some fantastic establishments. You worked at Seaham Hall, Quailthorne Hall, Rockcliffe Hall. I think you were at Rockcliffe Hall when my daughter got married there, and I didn't even know you then.
Everybody wins, hey?
But the side of you that I'm also interested in is how much fundraising you do. Now, you know, you do loads of activities. You're doing something, are you, at the moment for motor neuron disease?
Yeah, I've overseen a. Oh, thank you. I am, yes. Yes, I'm hopefully going to do a big challenge in May for the Motor Neurone Disease Association. An old friend of mine from school passed away sadly last year after a short battle with this terrible disease. So that's my next challenge. Is several running events, or not so much events, but running challenges in May to try and raise money and awareness for MND.
And I know you did an awful lot of work for Great North Air Ambulance. How much sort of money are we talking?
All your activities. You're a hard man to catch.
Look, I just crawl along behind you, Ben. You know, give us an idea to the listeners how much money you raised for Great North Air Ambulance.
Right.
I can just about hear. We're having an intermittent. Anne, help me out here.
Well, I'm hoping to raise the most I've ever done for one single event. I'm just shy of £10,000 by about £400 or £500 away. But beginning of lockdown with £100 in my Just Give pay, and between everybody who supported me.
That is absolutely amazing. And why do you do these sort of things, Ben? You know, is it?
Martin, yeah. I think we are really struggling with Ben.
So do I.
Definitely. And I think we need to do either a separate interview with Ben or just go in and visit him. What do you think? I think we should just go and visit him. Because you'd think we think he was somewhere in a different country. We were actually on a time zone chatting to him, wouldn't you, Martin?
He did, but I know that on Sunday morning he'll be out running again.
So I think what we should do is get you back, Ben, when we've got a better connection. Because this evening, the connection's not been good for all our guests. And I've actually gone and really turned off any internet access I've got here at CVFM Radio. That's why I've been moving away from my desk to actually turn the internet off different pieces of kit we've got in the studio. So honestly, Martin, I think we should get Ben back on a day when we've got some decent internet.
Yes, I fully agree, and I apologise profusely, Ben, for the problems, particularly as I was about to show you the picture of my dog with Monty Python.
Pardon?
Didn't get that. We'll leave that to the next time, man.
We're gonna let Ben go, and literally, we're gonna have a fabulous Valentine's, etc. Ben, and you know, I would like to come along to the Tomahawk Steak as well.
I can hear you really well. I think you muted me before. So
no, I've not muted you.
Thank you for the opportunity again.
No problem. You take care, my love.
Okay.
Take care, Ben.
Bye. Do you know something? This is really sad because Ben has been in since the start of the show. He's been sitting in the background, and I'm going to. There he is. He's Ben. I'm just going to take him out of the studio. Ben's actually been sitting there since the start of the show, and I've been watching him nipping in and out with his, to his chair. And I thought that would have been perfect. So I don't know what's actually happened there, which is a shame. So, but Martin, what have you been up to this week?
What have I been up to this week? I'm trying to remember. I've been watching the cricket. The first test where England beat India, which is why Ben and I have another mutual interest. And he very kindly sent me a picture of him with Ian Botham, which is why I wanted to send him a picture of Inca the dog with Monty Panesar. I've also watched the Super Bowl, and I've also been looking after Inca, because Inca was not well over the weekend, not well at all. So I lost about 3 nights sleep looking after Inca, but he's fully recovered now, so we're good. So what you been up to, Anne?
Well, what was up with Inca? Because I know last week you had...
I think it's just a greedy dog. He'd eaten something and his whole stomach had upset. And the good news is, he needed to lose some weight, and he did. He went from 13.7 kilograms down to 13.3 in about 3 days. But he's fully recovered. He's absolutely active. He's very happy.
Well, I thought he might have wanted to watch the Super Bowl on, was it Sunday night? Which was
we did watch the Super Bowl. But we watched the cricket at 3:45 in the morning. We watched the Super Bowl right the way through the night and watched the last day of the cricket. You know, I mean, I don't think I've seen an awake daylight. You
know. Well, I last Friday went and was able to. I can now make hand-rolled pasta, which I was so thrilled about, with a lovely ragu sauce, which was very, very nice.
And sent me a picture, and it does look very, very nice.
I was so proud of myself. And do you know something, listeners? It's so easy to do. All it is semolina, white flour, plain or strong flour, and water. And that is it. And you just, knead it, put it in a bowl, let it warm up, and we were making our sauce. And then, obviously, rolled them into long sausages, well, very thin sausages, and then took little amounts, like a little pea, and then just pressed them out on the back of your fork. So you did it. I was just so impressed. So, but
we're going to be doing live demonstrations of cookery on this program soon. I can see, because Anne and I are both experimenting with things that we've never touched before. But hopefully we can both make a pancake next Tuesday, because it's pancake day.
We should do that on a Zoom. But tomorrow is the Chinese New Year, and I am jumping on to another Zoom cookery session, and I'm going to do chicken pot stickers with dipping sauce, and that
sounds good to me.
Oh gosh, yes, I'm really looking forward to that. And that they're like, it's a dim sum, it's a little dim sum, and I sent you some notes across about the Chinese New Year, because it is the year of the ox.
Yeah, it's year of ox this year. So, what year are you on?
I am a horse, and I was born in the fire horse. And in China, girls born in the year of the horse, and especially the fire horse, they used to get rid of them. So because whatever they do, everything goes into it's quite big. So it's all
right. I'm a dog.
Oh, are you? My mum's a dog. I get on well with dogs.
I'm a dog.
Well, that's why we get on well together.
I mean, I don't think this fits my character at all. Apparently, I'm loyal, honest, but incredibly stubborn. Now, Anne, can you believe anybody could say that I was stubborn?
You are stubborn. Come on. Oh, my goodness. Listeners, you really don't know Martin. He is stubborn. And, yes. So
I need to be sometimes to survive the show.
But the one thing is according to one myth, the Jade Emperor said the order would be decided with reference to all the zodiac animals and which place it came in. When they arrived to his party, and the ox was about to be the first to arrive, but the rat tricked the ox into giving him a ride. Then, just as they arrived, the rat jumped down and landed ahead of the ox. Thus, the ox became the second animal in the Chinese zodiac. And it also says if you are born in the year of the ox is a valued animal because of its role in agriculture, positive characteristics such as being hardworking, honest. So there you go. If you're born in the year of the ox.
So Anne, you're celebrating the Chinese New Year tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I hope you are not washing any clothes, you're not using a pair of scissors, and you're not cleaning your house, because those things are banned on Chinese New Year. Did you know, Anne, that you can't leave the house tomorrow?
Well, that's not a problem for me. I'm
No woman is allowed to leave the house for the Chinese New Year. There you are.
Well, do you know, also as well as food is so important, and the Chinese do take pride in their food as well. And, you've actually got the Jing dynasty. People would arrange spring rolls and vegetables together on a plate. And this was known as the spring platter. And during the spring festival, emperors would award officials with spring platters, and each platter is said to have been worth thousands. So, but also as well as Chinese dumplings as well. I love Chinese dumplings. And
I think you're going to be having a great time tomorrow, aren't you?
Well, the thing is, by eating dumplings, you are sending away the old and welcoming in the new. And also as well is vegetables and meats have a symbolic meaning. Eggs, they are really big and for a big and healthy family. Lobster, endless money rolling in. I wonder why, because lobsters are so expensive. Shrimp, fortune and wealth. Roasted pig for peace, duck for loyalty, peaches for longevity. Now, have you still got some peaches left for that from that lovely peach Melba thing you did last week?
You are joking, aren't you? That was a week ago. It was a peach and pear bomb. It was called a bomb. Okay. It went down like a treat. So I tell you, I haven't got anything left for Chinese New Year.
All right. Well, also tofu is for happiness and fortune for the entire family, and fish is for surplus and wealth. And lots of great things. And I'm obviously off to do my little dim sum course, which I'm really looking forward to. So Tuesday, pancakes. Actually,
Tuesday, definitely pancake, because it's the start of Lent. Yeah. I haven't decided what I'm giving up at the moment. I'm thinking, let's see, I can't think of anything to give up at the moment. During lockdown, we've given up more things, haven't we?
Well, I think I could give up biting my nails, because I've
that's good.
My nails again, which is not good. And all the listeners will be going, oh, goodness, she bites her nails. And so I can wear my beautiful rings. So otherwise than that, Martin, I think we need to sign off and let our lovely listeners. Who's on next week? We have our counsellor on next week is Counsellor Matt Story. Always a good show with Matt Story on. Who else have we got?
And we've got on, I think it's Annalise Argyle we've got on next week. And if you don't know who Annalise is, you'll have to tune in next week to find out.
And we're going to be talking
fascinating person. So, all our guests, and the guests tonight we've had have been absolutely fascinating. So tune in next week, see who we come up with.
And Ben, we're going to get Ben back on.
We've got to get Ben back on, because I'm how can I go running with Ben if he says you invite me on a radio show and I can't hear half of what you say. I said, come on, get Ben back on, because he's got a fantastic story.
But the thing is that we could go to Ben, we could go to Acklam Hall and go and visit Ben, because I think that would be perfect and do a little.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah,
Sounds good to me.
we like doing those. And do you know something? I've been posting when we were out in the community, because we've been out in the community a lot. And unfortunately, lockdown 3 has thwarted what we usually do. And
Yeah. We
I've
love being
picked
out
it
in the
of
community, don't
the
we?
man-
We love being out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've got a lovely photo of the manageress of Tina's. Oh, what is it? Tina's or Tiny's? Tiny's. When they did, when the Orange Pit Market had the gay pride
Yes,
weekend.
I know. I saw that lovely picture.
Oh, it's just, and I'm there on my tiptoes because these ladies are so tall. They look fabulous. And I just love watching RuPaul Drag Race. So these girls are just amazing women. So Martin, I'm going to love you and leave you. I think I'm going to play Bay City Rollers for Mrs. Pegam because I know she likes Bay City Rollers.
She'll love that.
Oh, I'm going to turn up the.
I'm just going to say bye bye, baby.
Oh well, I'm going to play it.
All I say